What's going on, guys? Want to talk about a knife that I got in the mail today. This is a SHOT Show 2020 exclusive limited run. This is number 560 out of 1,000. The M4 steel Cerakote blade. Here you can see, hopefully you can see, the model is a 575. I already flipped the pocket clip because I'm a southpaw, as you all know. And this model is the 575GY-2001. Like I said, it's a limited run. There's only 1,000 of these out there. And I just so happen to have one. Funny story behind that is I am a fan of the Presidio II, which I took deer hunting this year. And this thing cuts flesh, pierces, did everything. I have pictures of my hands covered in blood with this knife. And with that open handle and everything, as you can see, cleaned up real nice, sharpened it back up, S30V steel. This knife is the real deal. It's a tank. It will go through anything. I truly believe that. This is one of the most durable knives I have, the Presidio II. Okay. If you're not worried about carrying a little extra weight around, if it's too hard for you, let's step it down a little bit. So I know somebody that sent me a picture of this Presidio II Mini. This is the exclusive, and I was like, man, that looks awesome. Burnt bronze handle, Cerakote blade, M4 steel. Love it. I probably won't buy one, though. Well, once they're released, they sent me a text, and they said, man, I messed up. I accidentally got 4 of these through pre-order deals and stuff like that. So he's like, what should I do? I'm like, well, don't worry about it. I mean, people will buy them, so either way, you're not going to be stuck with these knives. There's only 1,000. People are trying to still get them and they're discontinued or unavailable because they're sold out, right? And I bought one. So, and I think his boss bought one, and yeah. So, not a big deal at all. People bought them up quick, which is what I expected. So, it is a little bit smaller than the full size. And I do want to compare them. So this is a 575, the GY 2001. And this one is the 570. Okay, so let's talk about some of the differences. And then I'll talk about some pros and cons or whatever else I want. So I haven't done a video in a while. And I apologize, but not really. Most of my focus has been going into work. My son and my wife, which my son and my wife are a million times more important than these knives. Work is like 1% more important than these knives. But anyway, let's get into it. So overall length of the Mini is 7.44 inches. The full size, we have 8.72. Okay. The blade length of the Mini is 3.16, 3.72. The thickness is a little bit different. So here we have 0.11. Full size is 0.12. Not a huge difference, but there is one. Okay. As far as the grind, they call this a high saber grind. So it still holds the integrity of the blade. You have this thick center right here, and then you have a full swedge, almost the full length of the knife for piercing and everything else. The Presidio II is a legendary knife. The Presidio in general, you can see the same grind right here. I love that grind. I think it looks aggressive and effective. And like I said, this thing will pierce flesh, will cut right through anything. So I've tested it, and it will work. And the close length of this knife is 4.38 inches. This is 5.06. The blade on this knife is M4, which I am a big fan of. So that is why it is Cerakoted. M4 can rust and most likely will over time. But if you have a coating like this, which is a polyceramic Cerakote, then it's less likely to. So that's why they coat it. But as far as edge retention, strength, everything else, it's awesome. And this is the knife that really made me a fan of it, and this is the Freak. So, huge fan. The full-size Presidio 2 is an S30V, which is great. It's a stainless steel. Like I said, I had this thing covered in water, blood, and everything else. Looks fine. So, extremely tough knife, still good edge retention, still great. Okay. So, the handle thickness on the Mini is 0.55 inches. So, it's not a pocket thin knife, right? And the full size is 0.63 inches, even bigger. Takes up a lot of room in your pocket, but this thing will do anything, and this one probably will too. Extremely well-built knives. Probably overbuilt, I should say, but they're awesome. The handle on both of these is 6061 T6 aluminum. This is the burnt bronze, which is awesome, anodized, and this is just regular black. They are both aluminum scales over steel liners. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Let me bring it up. So aluminum scales over steel liners. You can see the position of the jimping. So you're obviously going to get grip here with the milled aluminum. There's jimping right in front of the blade for your thumb there, which is really nice. And then everywhere else, your hand just sinks into it. So I don't think there's any more jimping really needed on the knife because your palm and everything else is touching the scales. Okay. So the weight is where you're really going to see a difference. Okay. So the Mini is 3.9 ounces. So it's a lighter knife. You could probably carry it in the office and it wouldn't bother you or anything like that. This knife, the full size, is 6.2 ounces. So this thing is a lot heavier. It just depends on what you need it for and what you're comfortable with. As you guys know, I like carrying large knives. I'm usually not a fan of smaller knives. Who knows? If I don't like this thing, I might sell it, but I love the Presidio model. I really am a huge fan. It's one of my favorite Benchmades, probably top 3. I love it. So I'm probably going to hold on to it. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed. Swedge. So they call this a modified drop point. I almost would like to call this a spear point, but I'll go with a modified drop point because the manufacturer called it that I'm aware of. But I call it a spear point. All right. But it's definitely an aggressive knife. I love it. I love it. So when I got this knife, I gotta say it was very stiff. I don't even know if I can close it right now. So it just started closing for me about 10 minutes ago, and I've been messing with it for, I don't know, an hour. And that is a common thing that I have with my Benchmade knives, and I'm not sure why. I mean, I think it's something that they could remedy, but it's not the end of the world. So if I work a knife, I can usually get it to loosen up. I might even lube the bronze phosphor bushings, which most of the knives have. Hopefully you guys can see those bushings in there. Bronze phosphor. Same thing over here, right? This one was a little stiff also when I first got it. And after working with it just for, I don't know, I might have opened and closed it 30 times or something like that. It started to loosen up, go up to 50 times, and it's doing even better. So, you know, now I don't have an issue at all. The weight of the blade also, I believe, helps it close because it's just a big knife. And it closes just because of the momentum of the blade. But as you can see, there is a coating on this axis pin here, okay? So you can see that, and there's a little wear there. Well, that coating, unfortunately, on all of these knives, that happened on this one as well, it was really sticking. So when I would open it, I would go to close it, and you can hear it stick. Now, you know, it's not an issue at all. This is probably the loosest one I have, is the Freak. This one was sticking really bad. I actually opened it at one point and I could not pull the axis lock back. It was locked against the metal so tight that it would not unlock. So you can see how the axis lock goes in there, and when there is fresh coating on this bar right here, it sticks to the blade. I actually put a little bit of lubricant on there, and it seems to be helping. So I can't get a full close every time, but it's doing pretty good. So I'm probably going to carry this the rest of the week. I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's awesome. It's just a little bit smaller, so it's not so, you know, doesn't have such a big footprint or whatever you want to call it in your pocket. You have a little more room, and I would recommend it overall. I think the biggest issue I had is the action. Otherwise, the color, everything else is great. One question I did have about one of the comments on my YouTube videos is people were asking about this handle and how it's milled out. And when you pull it out of your pocket, does it grind up your clothes or your pocket? It actually does not. The reason being is it's engineered very well, and they did not mill right there. So that's where the pocket clip sets, right? Hopefully you guys can see that. So it's not an issue at all, because when you pull it out of your pocket, it's just sliding on a flat piece of steel, you know, or aluminum rather, versus your whole pocket rubbing against every single ridge. So it hasn't messed with any of my pockets. I haven't had an issue with it. And, you know, this is the same way. It's done very, very well. Okay. This is a stainless steel clip. Of course, it's coated. But this whole knife, just the matte finish, everything is awesome. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this short little review. It's just kind of an introduction. If I end up carrying this thing more, I might do another review on it. I do have other reviews that I want to do. I have this one here that I just picked up, and this is the 917 Tactical Triage, and I have a 916 as well. I might do them at the same time, but yeah, awesome knives. I just have to find some time to do this. I'm also writing some outdoor articles and things like that for people that have requested that from me. So good things. Just very busy with my family and some of my hobbies. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And ask any questions if you have any. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Thanks for watching, and always have a great night.